We also have BlackBerry shares trading higher today after topping forecasts in the third quarter. Let's get some reaction now to that latest round of results from Santosh Rao. He's the head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners. He's in New York. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What initially stood out to you in these results from BlackBerry?
Well, I think what you're seeing, that the company is executing very well. It is pivoting very well, and the market is rewarding them for the pivot at this point from a hardware-centric business to a software-centric business. So I think that's good. The software business is growing. QNX is kind of taking shape, still very early, but it's the seeds have been sown, and you should see some fruits down the road. So I think what you're essentially seeing is that the underlying metrics are good, the foundation is good. Now the market is waiting for the next leg up. And now that's where the issue comes in, is the company in a position to grow in the next leg up, which is highly fragmented, highly competitive. I believe it has, but it's a long game. You have to wait for them to execute there.
Well, they've got a few areas that they're focusing on. So let's just clarify that next leg up. What are you talking about? Is it massive wins tied to this uncertainty with cybersecurity, or is it really all about the automobile? Is it about having some huge wins to ensure there's more BlackBerry software technology inside vehicles, and more specifically inside self-driving vehicles in the future?
Yes, that's the next leg up. Like I said, the QNX business is the next one. They need to win more tier one contracts, win OEM, the full operating system, win those contracts, get in like the Delphi deals, where it's more comprehensive, higher ASPs, but those are down the road, deals with Ford. So you need more tier one wins, like we are beginning to see. But all these things take time to really generate revenue. They're still in their early stages. So that's in the right area. Then the cybersecurity space, of course, that's good too. And they're doing very well in the government. And that's their key thing. That's the foundation of the company, the regulated industries and government and finance and legal. So that's where their strong point is. No one can doubt their security features and all their overall system, the good reputation, reliable system. So I think the foundation is good. On that, QNX wins are important, tier one's important. Then the radar is another area that is very fragmented, but they have a good position there to win. They're in a good position to win market share there, but it's all down the road. We'll see how it plays out.
How would you describe the expectations in the market now, Santosh? Because BlackBerry, no secret, has been a very hot stock so far this year, rallying about 65%. It now has a valuation of $8 billion plus. Obviously, the long-term chart tells you a different story, but do you feel like the expectations are now fully baked into the performance we've seen in these shares?
I think the market is still waiting. It's still an execution story, still a show-me story to some extent. They have all the pieces together. It's the nice recurring revenue. Market loves recurring revenue models. So I think in that area, they're doing very well. Now, the issue is multiple expansion. They need to grow. By 2019, it's essentially going to be just a software business with others just tapering off, the access revenue and all that tapering off. So you're looking at about close to $1 billion in sales. So even if you grow at 25%, you're really looking at 1.3, 1.4 billion even in 2 years. So it's a small number. It's a profitable growth. Market rewards that, but to get a higher multiple, I think you need to see some big wins, show some scale, and show some investments. They need to buy growth, invest in channel partners, so things like that. They need to bulk up, get the traction, get the scale to get the next multiple up.
You mentioned 2019. By that time frame, I believe the CEO, John Chen, would be getting close to his 6th year on the job. He's somebody who came in to help turn things around, and there's always been speculation about whether or not, if there is momentum, whether this company will ultimately be sold. There was even a suggestion of that in a Wall Street Journal story overnight. Do you think that's a real possibility in the next, call it 24 months, that someone acquires BlackBerry?
Absolutely. I think that's always a possibility. I mean, at this point, I see them as an acquirer, kind of building up their business. But I can see them well positioned in certain markets that Microsoft would love to get into, like a Qualcomm would love to expand into. There are some synergies on the side on some of the companies that I mentioned. At this point, I think he will stay there. He will grow the business. He's just brought it up to a point where it's about to grow. If he executes. I don't think he will leave at this point, but at the right price, I think it makes a good strategic fit for one of the big technology companies.
Lots to watch. Santosh, always good to get your take. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Santosh Rao, head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners, joining us from New York on the BlackBerry story.